Have you ever been told that you should really be aspiring to live the life of your dreams? And then you picture sunny skies and beaches. And I want to propose to you, though, that it might change the way you look at the life of your dreams if you start to think about living life on your own terms. And what does that look like? Because the life of your dreams might feel very unattainable, whereas life on your terms could look similar, but feels within reach. That's why we have Jane and Marie here, and they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves, why this concept matters to them, and why it should matter to you. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Excited to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Tell everybody a little bit about yourselves because you do something pretty cool. So
we do something pretty cool. At least we think it cool. We think it's cool, and we're getting plenty of feedback that it is in fact cool. So I am Jane Gary and co-founder with Marie Hernandez of a company called Wander the Seven. And we are really here to revolutionize the way that women, particularly over 50, are living, playing, and working in the world. And we do that through making sure that they have simplified and streamlined selling strategies in their business, that they know how to seamlessly integrate their business obligations with their life opportunities. For a lot of our people, that's travel. And really all of that is so they can travel as much as they want without missing a business beat. So as you mentioned, this is really an opportunity to live life very intentionally and live a life that's on your terms.
Absolutely. And Marie, do you have anything to add that you want to kind of contribute to your position in that space? Because I know that you're literally doing that.
Yes,
right
yes,
now.
absolutely. Actually, I'm in Florida right now, which is one of my home bases. But yes, Jane and I share a passion for travel that is probably unlike most. We're both digital entrepreneurs, meaning that we don't have a house. I sold everything, including a car. So Uber's my friend. And wherever I am, usually in Europe, Tuscany is my heart home. I have a second home base there. And then we travel the world at least 6 months of the year, living no less than a month in each space. And one of our greatest passions, and my greatest passions, is that living life not only on your own terms, but also living your dreams and your passion. You can do both, and that's definitely something that I absolutely love. And so I've been doing this now. Well, I've been traveling all my life, and I've been working for myself all my life. But the past 14 years, I've been doing this specific digital nomading and running a successful online business. And we've learned both of us have learned, through scraped knees and mistakes and falling down rabbit holes, how to do it seamlessly and better than that, just more simplified, because, a lot of times it could be super complicated. So we love that we were able to figure that out. And we love to be able to help other women do that, because when you reach 50, you kind of have that, what am I going to do now? A lot of times I'm not still a mom, or, we're at the end of a marriage, or however that happened to come, and we want to know what more we can do for ourselves. And so living in passion is definitely something that we promote highly.
So I'm curious then, because the first thing that I know that many of our audience is going to be asking is, how did you even get started? Like individually first on this journey, but also collaboratively. I can just envision like two nomadic women earning money and but then meeting and then creating this bigger business out of it. Or did it look different? I'm curious.
Well, I grew up traveling. So back in the day when station wagons were a thing, remember we had the really cool metallic forest green with the wood paneling. That was my parents' car, and they would load my sisters and me up into that car, and we'd take off. Now, my dad was a business owner, so he had some freedom and flexibility of time to be able to do this. We were also able then to take longer types of trips if you were on vacation. But here's what I learned at a very young age was really that I was already integrating, we'll call it work, but I was in school because I was young, with traveling, because my mother was really good about making sure that she put us into all of these extracurricular activities. So what we would hear in the back of the station wagon was, girls, don't forget, you're going to need to turn those book reports in. Girls, don't forget, you've got that dance recital. Are you rehearsing the moves in your head? So to me, this whole integration of I'm traveling, but I'm still responsible for these obligations, even if they were interesting, that's still on the table for me. So it became very natural for me to integrate timelines and deadlines and things that had to produce results in the midst of a journey. So that was kind of the groundwork. Then I went to school in France, and that was really what kicked everything else off from there. So I did a stint in Europe. I went to school in Paris. I lived and worked in London. This was while I was in college. And I remember I had this one particular moment. I was in Nice, which is in the south of France, and I was sitting on the beach, and they have these beautiful rocks there, and the waves are coming in, and I'm smelling the salt air, and I'm tasting my delicious baguette and strawberries, and I'm just completely, you know, vive la France. I'm just having the moment, and I'm thinking, huh, I'm here doing this, and all of my classmates, my schoolmates at home, they're in school, they're getting up, they're chugging along, they're going to class, and I'm doing this, but technically I'm working, I'm accomplishing, I'm doing what needs to be done. And it was really that particular moment for me that I thought, everybody should be able to live like this, if that's what you want to do. So to have the freedom to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do, and if you tend to be a little travel obsessed, which Maria and I both are, then you really want to be able to figure out how do I incorporate everything so I'm not having to choose between doing my work and having fun. So I'm not have to deciding, is today the day that I make income, or is today the day that I'm having an adventure? So when you know how to really create a plan so that you're able to accomplish both simultaneously, the world opens up, and you can go do what you want to do, when you want to do, how you want to do it, just because you can. So we always like to talk about, when we work with our clients, what we're really doing is showing people how to change the world while they're seeing more of it.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is that for you, it's a 100% and seemingly has always been a lifestyle.
Yes.
And became intentional when you experienced that in Paris, or sorry, in Nice, France, sorry, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So I literally had that in my mind. I was sitting there eating that baguette with you, my friend. And and what I'm curious about then, Marie, where did you come from? Because she's over in France.
Yeah. So my journey is similar to hers with a couple of differences. I grew up in a military family, and my father was in the military, and so we traveled everywhere. And while everybody in my school and everybody else hated it because we had to change at least every 2 or 3 years to a new country or a new state, people hated it. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved being able to meet new people, experience new cultures. I loved it all. And then I decided I was going to get married and have children, and I started incorporating them into travel. So instead of Christmas presents, they got a trip. We all got a trip together. So, their Christmas present, one of or two Christmas presents might be a hint as to where we were going to go. So I was able to instill that love of travel in them, and many of them do travel. So from there, then I was married, and I transferred to different countries because of the situation that I was in. So travel has always been part of my life. It's just always been there. So I decided after a divorce, and my story came that way. It was a divorce, and I was like, okay, where do I go? I was 50 years old. What do I do now? I have this time. My children and grandchildren are not my responsibility anymore, so to speak. So where do I go? What do I do? I have this whole blank canvas to create, so to speak. And I knew travel was going to have something to do with that. So I had been at that point traveling on sponsorship, which is a marketing technique and strategy. And I started teaching that while I was traveling. So I'd get to go to these beautiful destinations, and I'd get to experience them in exchange for a marketing collaborative with them. So that allowed me to travel longer and farther because I didn't have to actually pay cash. I was using my expertise in helping the market. And I had this program, and Jane was one of my clients. So we very quickly became good friends because what she absolutely loves and is genius at, not so much for me. I'm like,
I love
I
it.
really like it. And vice versa. What I absolutely love and am a genius at, Jane's like, not so much for me. So it was almost, we had been in each other's world for a couple of years and just kept kind of crossing paths and realizing how perfectly fit both of our programs were. And it was a pretty quick and easy decision, right, Jane? That we just said, hey, let's try let's see how this works as a collaborative effort. And it just blew right out of the water. It
Yeah.
just really did. So
I believe it.
I've been for the past going into 14 years really teaching service-based online business owners selling strategies and conversion methods with both the strategies and selling skills so they could generate income and then they could go do whatever it is that they wanted to do. I've always traveled, so that's what I do with my money. I go travel. But you have to have a successful business and it really kind of needs to be online. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to live and work anywhere in the world. The brick and mortar is going to require a little bit more of a tethering. So Marie's area of expertise is sponsored travel. And I thought, well, I already travel. What's this about? This sounds like it could be really a great augmentation to my lifestyle. And then as Marie mentioned, it just took off from there because we had so much synergy and we were speaking to the same kind of target audience, if you will, anywhere. Community was full of people who were passionate about travel and excited about having a successful online business. And so we thought, you know what, we could really merge this. We could really collaborate in a bigger way. Our original intention was just kind of, let's teach something together, let's start a little course. But the more that we talked about it, the more we really realized it was such a perfect partnership from personality to skill set to interest. And so we just created a whole separate brand and been taken off ever since.
yeah.
It's really cool. What you're saying is really cool because we're going from you have the ability to travel because of the income you're making from your business to you can travel while getting sponsorships, but you also need to figure out work somewhere in between.
Right.
You're right.
Right. And that now you can travel with sponsorships and the money you make from your business doesn't go towards your travel, but rather back in your pocket. So you can experience it a lot more fully.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
it's usually a combination. So so sponsored travel is a moment in time, if you will. You really won't find sponsored travel where it's 3-4 months, something some type of extreme length. It's more a week or several days. Most of our clients have aspirations to truly temporarily live, work, and play in particular locations, which is what we do. So I was in Central and Eastern Europe for 3 months, April, May, and June of last year. And it was the ability to integrate so that I had plenty of time to travel, sightsee, and just enjoy life. And I wasn't neglecting my business. So again, we want to get people into a headspace and then into a space in their business where they realize I don't have to choose between income and adventure. I don't have to choose between a thriving business and traveling as much as I want. So we really show them how it's not a vacation. It really is a lifestyle. You can get up and work, you can get up and play, you can merge the two, and that gives you the opportunity to stay, work, play, and live for a longer period of time. The sponsored travel becomes a really fascinating piece to it because you can start layering that in as well. So for instance, I rented an apartment in Split in Croatia. You can get a sponsored travel piece so that you stay an extra week and you're exchanging services. So it's really hard to explain to people unless you get in it and you start realizing, I'm on the catamaran. I took a week cruise on a catamaran through the Croatian islands. I'm on the catamaran and, I'm still making money. I'm wherever I am and I'm still running my business. I'm doing these things and I'm not worried about, I got to go back and sit in front of a desk. So it's a little bit of a weird way to live. It's definitely not as glamorous as most people will make it appear on social media.
Yeah.
We like talking about the behind the scenes.
Yes.
Really aspect to it. But it's one of the reasons why we love what we do and our clients love working with us is because we share that behind the scenes stuff because it's not posing on social media and having the time of your life 24/7. There are real things that pop up that need to be addressed.
So what I'm looking at here, I'm thinking how can we share this experience with our audience so that they can get a glimpse into what might this look like for me? So I want to invite you. I mean, you can take turns or defer, but I want you to give me a taste of what does it look like. Give me an example, a real example. What does it look like to live in this capacity? And then, of course, include that behind the scenes because here is a space, because you're talking about sponsorship and living that way. It's a marketing experience. That's why I say we're marketing rebels here. We're living life a little bit differently. We're experiencing it differently. So we need to know the real and raw. We're not sugarcoating things. Give me a taste. What does this look like for me?
For you?
For,
Well,
for me being the average entrepreneur who would love to travel the world.
Right. So the first and foremost, that's a very good question. And that's something that people come to us with all the time. You have a successful business or you have a business online, right? And you want to be able to fit more travel into it. So the first thing we do immediately is, well, we would tell you, give us a call. Let's jump on a call and let's really, look at really where you are in your business and what you're looking to do. So we start there. And the idea is to show you and to open up the world of you being able to do what you do simultaneously while enjoying travel. And the big thing is that people gets real, well, I just can't hop on a plane and leave for a month. Jane and I are like that. And a few of the people in our world are like that. For the most part, people really do. They have homes, they have, family, they're doing those things, and they don't necessarily can hop on a catamaran for a week and then also go off, and spend 3 months in Tuscany. It doesn't always work that way. But traveling could really be the next state or the next city, but feeling the freedom and knowing how to set your business up through the right foundations of sales, marketing, and the tech stuff so that you can do that. If you wake up on a Wednesday and say, you know what, I want to go and try that new restaurant in the next city that I heard was fantastic. You're in a position to say, okay, I'm going to do that. And you don't feel the stress of, I got to reach out and I got to get clients and I have to put money in the bank and I have to, that's the real kind of way that we all want to live. So we open up and show you how you can do that seamlessly and simply. We're all about simplicity, and we tend as humans to complicate everything. We just want to, but we show our clients how to simplify that. And there's a lot of mindset behind that too, because we think we're so driven to think that we have to make a certain amount before we can do certain things. So Jane and I are really, 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 we love teaching our clients too how to kind of step back and say, let me get rid of things that don't serve me, that are not working for me. And let me simplify this so that I can do it this way, so that I can go and have that day off or that week off or the month off as well. So for that, from that perspective, that's where we start. And so the behind the scenes would really be behind the scenes to show you what it takes to do that, what you need to have set in place to do that. And, sometimes that's marketing that you don't like, and sometimes it's sales that you don't like, but we show you how to like it, or at least how to tolerate it. So Jane, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, the easiest way for anybody out there who's saying, wow, this sounds really great. This is a lot of information and I'm hearing some really cool things. But what do I do? I would suggest that you do this. We're going to frame it up so that you actually have 3 simple steps, and then you've got 1 pre-step. So your pre-step is, first and foremost, you have to decide, what does travel more actually mean to you? Some people just want more vacation. Right. Some people want to kind of slow travel, take 2, 3, maybe up to about 4 weeks. So they have time to meander and really soak in the culture of the place. And then the people who really want the lifestyle, which is what we have, is you're really talking about going someplace that's maybe 2 months, 3 months, or even a little bit longer. So the pre-step is, what does travel more mean to you? Because without being very clear on what that is, you run the risk of setting up your business or not setting up your business to go travel more, but you don't really have any parameters around that or a very clear definition. So that's the pre-step. Then the first step of the 3 becomes this. Number 1 is, what kind of money situation do you need to have? How much money do you need to make? How are you making it? And is your business set up to generate revenue without you sitting in front of your computer in your home office? And is it able to withstand that in an ongoing fashion? So the first thing is, what kind of money do you actually need? The second thing is, you need to have the ability to manage both your business obligations and your travel opportunities simultaneously. Right. This one gets into a tangle pretty quickly for a lot of people, because we live in a digital age and because people are much more nomadic than they ever have been. They're tends to become this belief that, well, I've gone on vacation and checked my emails. I've gone on vacation and done a podcast. I've been on vacation and I fill in the blank. And that's good, but that's still not the same scenario as consciously with intention saying, I'm going to go stay here for 2 to 3 months. That becomes a whole different ballgame when you're on vacation, just due to the amount of time that a vacation is. There's not as much opportunity for real life to come in as there is when you're 2 to 3 months in one particular place. So things are easily solved while you're on vacation, or things that you can just not worry about until you get back home, they're going to have to be dealt with. So the second thing is, how are you going to manage flawlessly, maybe not flawlessly, seamlessly would be the better word, your business obligations and your travel opportunities. And then the third thing is what Marie said, which is really there is a mindset piece around all of this. We call it living like a traveler rather than a tourist. And it's a life skill, but you really want to make sure that you're able to incorporate this, grab onto it when you're traveling. And it's just that a traveler says, okay, this is what's happening. It doesn't really matter what I wanted to happen. I'm dealing with the present moment. I'm going to have to adjust from there. And I'm really not going to get that bent out of shape about it. A tourist says, nothing is going the way that I wanted to. These were my expectations. These were my plans. And now I'm going to have a meltdown and take it out on everybody around me, including myself. So when you know how to master living like a traveler rather than a tourist, you are more adept at being able to handle and enjoy really a travel business lifestyle. So what can you do right now? Number one, identify what travel more means to you. Number two, understand what kind of money you need and you want. And then is your business set up to support you in making that kind of money from anywhere in the world, not in front of your desk 24/7. Then can you manage the business obligations and your travel opportunities so that it all is working for you? And then finally, are you able to master living like a traveler rather than a tourist? So you actually enjoy a travel business lifestyle, because it can get stressful very quickly if you don't have all of those things in place.
Yep.
That was amazing. I'm sitting here thinking, like, this is really a life of flow and allowing yourself to flow between and within all of your intentions.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, I want to invite you to share some final thoughts about this that will help people maybe take the first step, maybe beyond the idea of learning, like, what does travel look like to me? Maybe there's something more close to home, because I really like that idea of maybe there's a restaurant in the next town, or how can people take action today to start leaning into this lifestyle, to really start thinking, I can do this. So share your final thoughts, and of course, where people can get in touch with you, because this is a pretty big adventure people could be going on right now.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing to do is just, like Jane said, is just decide what it is you want to do, and take that time. It doesn't have to be, so we tend to do grandiose things like, oh, I want to go to Greece for a week, and so that's going to cost me this amount of money. And then you start getting scared about it. Take just where you are today. Think of what would make you happy in terms of where you are with your business, where we are personal life, and where you'd want to travel, and just do something small, one baby step towards it. And that baby step could come and join our Facebook group, Ultimate Business Freedom, where you'll get lots of resources and things in there. And then just start communicating with people that inspire you. That could be the easiest step. Like, look on Facebook and see. I like Facebook because you can develop relationships, and that's where you're going to start doing things when you do get moving and wherever you want to go. That's where you can find the destinations that you love. So, but start talking to people. That's the biggest thing. Taking the step and communicating, reaching out, and not being afraid to do so. Find a place that you want to go into their Facebook group and say, hey, I was thinking someday I'd like to come and visit. What are the best things that I need to see when I do get there? And just start a conversation. And then, intention is everything. So intention and implementation are my genius spots. So I'll intend something. I will say, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I start taking actionable steps towards that, no matter how small. But just taking a step is really a big accomplishment.
I love it. I love that more than I can even say that I love that, because this is all within our reach right now today. Yes. Thank you so much, ladies. I've really enjoyed having you on our show, and especially as you're the first dual interview here. This has been a really fun
Mhm.
experience. And with that, I just want to let everybody know, let me do a little bit of rejigging here. Ta-da! We have conversations just like this every single week, most of the time, 2 times a week. So make sure that you join Marketing Rebels, follow, subscribe, so you get notified the next time we have a conversation like this, which can literally change your life. So thanks again, ladies, for joining. And everyone else, we'll see you next time.